What are your biggest frustrations when trying to practice your English? Hello. Happy Monday morning, April 8th. So, another good day, another great week. I'm super excited to see what's in store. I have all kinds of great things planned. Last week I got the first unit of my basic English course up, recorded, and pretty much ready to go. So I'm excited about that. So my goals for this week are to record Unit 2. So each unit's about 18 to 24 lessons long. Lots of good stuff to help beginner English students practice your English. Plus, we've got some great PowerPoint presentations ready to go as well. And I'll continue to do the whiteboard videos. So make sure to post your questions. Let me know what kind of things you want me to talk about, what you want to learn and study, so I can get those lessons up for you. All right? So, meantime, in my daily day video here, I'm just talking about random things about life, my life, things that I've been learning, thinking about, sharing with you. Mostly focused for English learning, but lots of general stuff. So today I wanted to talk specifically about practicing your English, which is the third step in the daily English praxis, which is the letter A in the plain English praxis for activating and applying the knowledge that you're learning so that you can apply it, right? In your own life, because just studying, just learning isn't enough, right? People say that knowledge is power. But other people say, no, knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. You can have a lot of head knowledge, a lot of information in your head, be really smart, but if you don't use it, it's not going to do you any good, which is what happens with a lot of English students when they study. Let's go ahead and get out here. Got a break in traffic. So when people study a lot of English, they study a lot of grammar, they translate a lot of texts, they learn a lot of vocabulary words, they do a lot of grammar exercises, they learn expressions, they read a lot, they listen a lot, but they don't take it and use it to actually communicate themselves, to actually write and speak with others. I was just thinking, because this weekend I answered a whole bunch of comments on the other YouTube channel, which is in Portuguese for beginner English students in Brazil. And they're really active. So I like recording my Portuguese videos because they generate a lot more comments than my English videos do. So, and two of the biggest complaints that students have is, number one, David, I've been studying English for 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, however long you've been studying English, but I don't understand what people are saying. Like, okay, usually my comment to the person who said this was, it's normal for students who are at the A2 level. And I talk about this stuff a lot. It sounds, sometimes I'm just repeating and saying the same things over and over again. But you need to understand that there are levels of English, right? A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So most English students, they study a lot, they do a lot of grammar exercises, they study a lot of vocabulary, they understand a little bit, but when you're at the A2 level, it's really limited. So you have to get past the A2 level into at least the B1 minimum, if not B2, for you to be able to understand a large part of what you hear, to be able to express yourself. So a lot's involved, study and practice, because a lot of people study, spend years studying, but they never practice. And their number one complaint is, I don't have anybody to talk to. Okay, that's a valid point, but it's an excuse, It's what it is. It's an excuse. So you've got to find people to talk to. That's why I talk so much about developing your own personal English network, your PEN, personal English network, right? Of at least 12 people you can communicate with, people you can talk to. So every day you're talking with people. Those can be friends, other English students in your city, locally, in your English course. That's one reason why an English course is good. You have your teacher, your tutors at your English course. You've got, other people that that are learning English. You've got to actively seek out those relationships, people that you can practice English with online, through Skype, through Zoom, through Hangouts. There are online groups specifically for practicing English, WhatsApp groups specifically for practicing English. So saying there aren't people to talk to isn't really a valid excuse. Sorry to tell you that. I know it's nice to stay in that comfortable bubble and say, there's nobody to talk to. No, there are people to talk to. You've just got to put yourself out there. I know that's scary. Okay? So I'll give you that. Maybe you're only at level A1 or A2 and you don't feel comfortable speaking yet. That's okay. So what do? You've got to practice. You've got to think in English. Thinking is a form of practice, because as you think, formulate those structure sentences in your head, create your own filler phrases so you're ready to speak when you have the opportunity. I've talked about filler phrases before. Prepared phrases, things that you can say before and at the end of a sentence, so while you're thinking of what to say, you can already use those basic phrases to fill up your conversation and give the sense that you're speaking English. So using those filler phrases, and guy on the motorcycle cutting out in front of us and throwing up his hand for us to let him pass. So using those filler phrases, and as you think, you realize what you don't know yet. So as you think, how do I say this, and you realize you don't know the word, then you can go look that word up and learn it. Learning vocabulary is important so you can understand what others are saying and so that you can express yourself. So once you've got that vocabulary and then you're thinking and creating your own filler phrases, you can practice with a robot. ESL Fast has a robot. I think his name is called Tutor Mike. So you can type questions and he'll answer you and you can practice your sentences. That's one way, So you've got to practice, you've got to apply what you're learning. And I go back to the example of my guitar, right? I want to learn how to play the guitar. I can read a 1,000-page book on how to play the classical guitar. But until I actually sit down with my guitar and practice what I'm learning, I'm not really going to know how to play. I can read 10 books about how to play the guitar, but I've got to practice what I'm learning to become a good guitar player, right? I've got to develop those skills, the coordination, the limberness in my fingers, stretching, reaching, knowing where to hit the right notes at the right time, at the right place, in the right rhythm. And that practice is what actually makes me a good guitar player. Not just reading guitar books, not just watching guitar videos. All of that helps, but I've got to practice. And that's what you have to do. You have to practice. If you want to be a good English speaker, if you want to be a fluent English speaker, you've got to practice. Start training your listening. You have to listen a lot. podcasts, movies, music, audiobooks, mini stories. You know, there's so much free information out there, online movies with subtitles, YouTube videos, teachers teaching you. You know, so you just gotta listen, begin listening, what you're doing now. That's great. Listening in English, developing those skills. And then taking what you learn and go practice it. Go practice it with real people. If you learn a phrase, find 10 people that you can speak with. And most of the times they might not even understand you. Maybe they don't even speak English, but you teach them. That's what I did when I started studying French. I was doing everything. I was taking online courses. I had a teacher. I was studying in class with other students. I was watching movies in French. I was listening to music in French. I was listening to podcasts, mini stories. I had those audio courses. I was doing almost everything I could to get that French in my head. And then I would go up to everybody that I met. When they would greet me, I would greet them in French. And if they didn't understand, I would tell them what I was saying. So I would tell them, you know, how I was. I would tell them who I was, how old I was, tell them that I was learning French. And it was fun sometimes. I mean, they knew I was studying French, so it was just kind of like a banter. But I would actually take the time to teach them, and as I would teach them, I would reinforce the things that I was learning. So don't be afraid to speak English with those around you, even if they don't speak English. Teach it. When one teaches, two learn. So teaching what you're learning is a very good way for you to practice your English. And we have arrived. We are at the school. I've got to go in, record lots more videos. So this is going to be a good day. It's going to be a fun day. I thank you for watching the video. Leave your comment below. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. It's always good to know who's on the other side of the screen, who's watching, and how you feel about what I'm saying, so we can open up the dialogue and communicate. Now remember, if you have questions, leave me a comment. If you have a video that you want me to record, let me know what that is, and I'll do my best to help you out. Okay, so y'all have a great day. Talk to you later, and bye-bye.